Hariom everyone, welcome to this class on Purusha Sukta. Let's start with the chanting first.
Page number. Page number.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Gananam Tva Ganpatigam Havamahe कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We chant finally last two parts. The seventh and eighth. वेदाहमेतं पुरुषं महान्तम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसस्तु पारे सर्वाणि रूपाणि विचित्य धीरः नामानि कृत्वाभिवदन् यदास्ते धाता पुरस्ताद्यं मुदा जहार शक्रः प्रविद्वान् प्रदिशश्चतस्रः तमेव विद्वान् अमृतय्य भवति नान्यः पन्थायनाय विद्यते यज्ञेन यज्ञम् अयजन्त देवाः तानि धर्माणि प्रथमान्यासन् ते हनाकं महिमानः सचन्ते यत्र पूर्वे साध्या सन्ति देवाः अद्य सम्भूतः पृथिव्यैरसाच विश्वकर्मणः समवर्तताधि तस्य त्वष्टा विदधद्रूपमेति तत्पुरुषस्य विश्वम् अजानमग्रे वेदाहमेतं पुरुषं महान्तम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात् तमेवं विद्वान् अमृत इह भवति नान्यः पन्था विद्यनाय अयनाय प्रजापतिश्चरति गर्भे अन्तः अजायमानो बहुधा विजायते. So we are looking at this Purush Ved Aham Etam Purushantam Mahantam. How we can know this Purush, this vast Purusha who is controlling the whole of creation. How to identify himself with us, Aditya Varnam, as the consciousness, as the light of all lights, Tamasastu Pare, as the light beyond all kinds of darkness, right? So when we identify with this, what we have seen so far is that when we look at this Param Purusha, we have to understand and completely identify with that Purusha, which is our original consciousness, which is the original unreflected consciousness in its pure form. And then when it has manifested, it has become the Virat. So when this Purusha is entering into Virat, he takes up the four functions of Virat. So there, the identification is with the reflected consciousness at the total level. And what about ourselves? We are the reflected consciousness at the individual level, the Jiva. So this Jiva is what? If the Jiva identifies with the original consciousness, he is free. He is liberated. But when he is identifying with the reflected medium of this mind and body, then this spectacle that he is wearing, this chashma that he is wearing, it will affect his vision of the world, right? And the more he puts on the colors of the world, the more he puts on the colors of his, what you call the triguna, the three gunas. They are, the gunas are of different colors. So these multiplied colors, when he wears these spectacles, then he sees a new world. He sees a new universe which comes in front of him, which hides his true Swarupa, which this will hide his true nature. So because of this multicolored spectacles, he sees the world in its different colors. That is why when someone finally gets to go beyond this, when someone tries to uh, reach that higher stage, so reaching the final stage that I am that original unreflected consciousness takes time. But initially, he understanding that truth, this person, he first sees himself as Jiva. What is Jiva? The reflected consciousness associated with this mind and the body. So when this association is there, as long as he is without any knowledge, without in ajnanam, he will be wearing this multicolored spectacle of his vasanas, his different gunas. So when he is wearing that, his vision will be accordingly the same, right? But when he strives, over a period of time, he learns through experience that these are only going to trap him in this world, because every experience leads him to pain. And so when he sees that, why should he necessarily go towards pain? Even the joys are short-lived. So when the joys are short-lived, he searches, and then Shastra comes to his aid, and Shastra shows him his true nature. So when he learns that I am that consciousness, still that chashma, that spectacle of the mind and its conditioning, it is there. No? The conditioning is there. So that won't actually go away till death. But what he can do is, he can remove the multicolored spectacle of vasanas. Once he removes that, then his behavior will be that of a liberated being, right? So he will transact in the world without being tied down in the world. He will bear all karma phalams with a smile. He said, this will also pass, this will also pass away. So any situation that comes, it will pass away. And when we let no condition, no situation affect us, then Lord also smiles on us. Then Lord also, we turn towards the Lord, Lord also turns towards us. So then what happens is, then the situations don't affect us. Then Lord will, then we can ask. Then we can ask the Lord to give us good conditions. And once we do that, once we start asking the Lord, instead of asking the people in the world, instead of asking the different beings of the world. So what will happen? Then my joy will be a true joy. Then Lord will give me that joy. So I will have lesser of these painful situations as long as I am surrendered to the Lord. So this we say that nothing should be, I consider nothing as mine. Nothing is mine. So that we saw is Bhikshacharya. That is called Bhikshacharya. So Bhiksha is not just something like you give some donation to someone. When I have that Bhikshacharya bhav, then that bhav means nothing is mine and I seek to collect nothing. ना मुझे किसी में अपना ममत्व डालना है और ना ही मुझे किसी वस्तु को इकट्ठा करना है. अमम अपरिग्रह. So that should be my bhav. So when that bhav is there, the world will lose its hold on. अभी मेरे पर बहुत बड़ी पकड़ है. The world has gripped me like a vice. It is not letting go of my throat. Right? So I should strive not to let it strangle. So what do? I let go of this ownership of this throat. You manage. So amama aparigraha, that is Bhikshacharya. So the person, the wise person, that is why they do this Bhikshacharya, because then whatever they receive, they are seeing it as receiving it without doing any action, as a fruit of their action. कर्म फल की तरह नहीं प्राप्त करते किसी भी वस्तु. As long as I receive anything as karma phalam, my true Bhikshacharya will not be there. So then I will see everything as a action, a result of my action, and I will be trapped again. I will be trapped in the in the bhava of giving and taking, working and getting something. Right. So Nashkarmya bhava is the bhava of the moon, that I do nothing. मैं कुछ नहीं कर रहा हूँ. ये जो भी कर रहा है मन बुद्धि कर रहा है, whatever. I am just giving my consciousness to allow them to do it. Right? So once that bhav, I am giving my power to let them do it. So once this mama bhava, mine bhava is not there, then I have to be very, very careful. Mama is not just outside. Mama is this body also. Mama, is this mind also, right? And if this body is not mine, then nothing in the world is not mine, and not even my friends and relationships, right? So before we explore this part first, we'll go into the story. We'll go to the story of Yagyavalkya and Janaka. So in this story of Yagyavalkya and Janaka, it is from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It's from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So in this Yagyavalkya Muni, he was a very, very wise person. He was known among the circles, and also he was very, you can say, arrogant. Not in the wrong sense. He knew he was wise. So he would not, be not behave with false modesty. So there was one time in another story which we'll not be covering now. So the king asked that will the best man can take away the cows, and he took them away without asking. So then everyone argued with him about Atmagyanam, and he was able to win the arguments with everyone, right? So there he said, because I don't think I am arguing, because I am letting my Lord argue. So therefore, he said that I am a very unattached person. So that was his Vikshacharya. So now let's come back to this story. So the rishis, they should constantly they would come to the kings, whenever they needed anything, because they used to teach the students in the ashram, and they needed funds to run the ashram. They had no means of earning anything, right? Because they would not be doing any work also. The students, they would maintain the ashram, they would cook the food, but still for arranging the food, they would depend on the wealth from the king. And of course, all the people who used to come there. There are a lot of people from the nearby areas. They would also sometimes come to listen to the Guru. And then secondly, the Guru also, whenever he would send his students out and they needed something extra, they would give them. So now, of course, the main source of income was the king, right? So what would the king give? He would give cows mainly, or some wealth, whatever. So one day he reached, and then he met Maharaja Janak. And Maharaja said, why have you come today? Any special reason? कुछ खास बात है, हमें आपके दर्शन हमें आपके उपलब्ध हुए. So he said, do you want some money, or some cows, or have you come for the giving the self knowledge? Brahma Vidya के उपदेश के लिए आए हैं क्या? So then Yagyavalkya laughed a little bit. He said, I've come for both things. So Janaka said, then why not start with Brahma Vidya? Because he was very, very eager for knowledge. No, King Janak was one of the best known kings who was known to be a very wise person and always hungry for the wise people's knowledge. He would always want them to be around. So this is not the Janaka in Ramayana, right? There have been other Janakas. So this... when he asked, then Brahma Vidya ka upadesh pehle kariye. Please give me that knowledge of Brahman. So then Maharishi said, okay, that if you want that, then first you have to give me dakshina. So, why? Usually the rule is that when you give something, we give your knowledge, then we give dakshina at the end. So he said, no. This rule will not do in Brahma Vidya. Because after giving that upadesh, whatever you are, I am also the same. हम दोनों एक हो जाएंगे. We will be the same. After I give the upadesh, then you and I will become the same. Then who will I take dakshina from? हम दोनों एक हो जाएंगे, है ना? So you have to give me dakshina first. Then I'll give you one. So Janak Maharaj said, okay, sir, okay, whatever you say, because the rishi was very, very respected. So he said, so what will you want? What do you want in your dakshina? Please name. So he said, the Yagyavalkya said that you have heard that after Brahma Vidya, you have to give up everything. You have to give up everything. So whatever is yours, you give me. जो कुछ तुम्हारा सब दे दो. Janak Maharaj, he was also a very large-hearted person. Agreed? Okay. Okay, Rishi, whatever you say. Today's person, if they ask him, say, Maharaj ji, thank you very much. No one, because they don't understand, no, the bhava behind these wise people. Na? So we'll see in the story also. So, other, today's people will say, अपने ब्रह्मा को अपने पास रखो, हमें नहीं चाहिए. So people, they are not willing to give up their ego or their possessions. So Janak Maharaj said, okay, I give you everything. So he said, no, 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 it won't do like that. You have to write down. इच्छा पत्र में लिख के दो, write it down in the demand list that whatever you have is going to. So you write serially everything. So he said, okay, okay, whatever I have, my palace, my wealth, everything is the. No, your queens, write that also. I also give to you. Okay, okay. Raniya likhti hu maine. Okay, the queens also go to you. Your clothes, give your clothes, all your clothes, whatever you are wearing also. Okay, written down. It's all yours. Okay, something below the clothes, the body. Okay, okay. शरीर भी देता हूँ आपको. I give my body also. Whatever my life, remaining life is, it will be in your seva only. So I give it to you. No, no, more. इसके अंदर भी कुछ है शरीर के अंदर. What is there? Mind, intellect, सब दो. Everything. Give your मन बुद्धि. तो उसके बाद nothing left now. So अच्छा. So you have given your mind and बुद्धि. Now what are you talking with? किससे बोल रहे हो? With the mind or without the mind? So he said, yes, of course, I'm talking with the mind only, through the mind only. So, so he said, now your Vani will also stop. You will not speak now. So he said, okay. And so he stopped speaking. He closed his eyes and went into Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So, Janak. And then what Yajnavalkya did? He entered through his antakaran, through his mind, and there he lit the light of knowledge. ज्ञान की ज्वाला को अंदर जला दिया. And then after he came out of that samadhi, then he said, talk to him. Now tell me what happened. What is your state? अभी तुम्हारी क्या स्थिति है? What is your state? So Janak Maharaj said, what shall I tell? Through samadhi, all the dirt in my chitta, all the dirt in my antakaran has washed away. So the moment you have entered me and put that light inside me, now everything is belonging to the Lord. So now I belong totally to you. You have completed what you want, what you said you would do. So now you tell me whatever you want me to do. So, okay. So now what do you want me to do? So Yajnavalkya said, Karishya vachana, jo mera vachana hai karo. Whatever I say. So he said, whatever you were doing earlier, whatever the kingdom you were ruling, keep on ruling. But remember that you belong to me. So you are doing it for me. So therefore, in this way, he took him to Bhikshacharya. No, सब कुछ से ममत्व हटा दे. So that is how a guru gives Brahma Vidya. That is how a guru gives Brahma Vidya. But he doesn't want your money, he doesn't want your stuff, no. He wants to see if you are willing to give up. A lot of people, no, they will say that, no, now I don't need anything. But the next day they will find a 10 rupee note lying on the ground, they will pick it up. So we are not able to give up our desires or all of our, whatever we think of in life, no, whatever we think we need. So, in order for this true Bhikshacharya, you have to reach the stage of non-doership. Karta, mamata, all of that is given up. That is the true self-knowledge, in fact. Wahi Atmagyan hai. So, it said in Sureshwaracharya's commentary, Dikshaya lakshate charya dvaya kinchit ek sanchraya amam aparigraha ukte nishkarma munihi uchyate. So he said that whenever you are into this Bhikshacharya, kinchit, not even the smallest of things, you should have any kind of ownership. And you should be totally amama aparigraha. That is the person who has nashkarma, who has total non-doership, that I am doing nothing. And that is the person, Munihi Uchyate, that is the person who is called a Muni. So now Shruti, when we look at Shruti, it won't give you a direct indicator about this. It will take you slowly through indirect method. So Shruti will point you towards your nature. So when you understand what your nature is, you should be able to understand that means I will not have any kind of mama bhav. So that means giving up karma. So, but always remember that Dikshacharya has no relationship to karma, means giving up totally karma, but doesn't mean that karma should stop. No, karma will go on. No, even at the end of it, Yajnavalkya said, do your job. Keep doing your, ruling your kingdom. So, ruling or doing my work without minus, without the feeling of mamata, also in the mind and body. So, we saw if the body is not me, then how can I have any relationships with other people? This is the essence of Dikshacharya, which we have to remind always, all of the time. So when we do that, we are doing what we call a Nishedh Vakya. Nishedh Vakya. We are negating all kinds of attachments. So Nishedh Vakya means something I should not do at any time, all times. So this subtle thought, ये बहुत ही सूक्ष्म विचार है. This subtle thought should be with us always. So if someone gives us a निषेध वाक्य like don't ever lie, झूठ मत बोलो, so don't ever. This means having that subtle thought that I must never lie all the time. So whenever an opportunity comes where one can lie, there might come a situation where you think that maybe lying may get me out of it. Then that thought will destroy. ये आज्ञा है मेरे गुरु का, दिस आज्ञा, ये आज्ञा है मेरे शास्त्र का. So this instruction has been given to me. So whatever be the problem, I will have to surmount it without lying. So same way, this higher thought, अभी ये थोड़ा mid level का होगा. This is a mid level thought. So if you go to a higher thought, so if you keep the thought that I am not the body at all times, it will cut all thoughts of relations. No kind of relations will be there because the relations are from the standpoint of the body. So when the body is not fine, then the relations of the body are also not fine. So again, I repeat, does not mean you give up relations. That means you stop having expectations from them. That is the main thing you have to realize. Don't put your raga and dvesha in your relationship. No, raga means expectations. Dvesha means I'm having pain for this person should go away. Both should not be there. So not just body, mind is also not. Why? Because mind is also made up of 5 elements. 5 तत्वों से ही तो बना है ये मन, है ना? From which 5 elements? From the subtle part, है ना? From the what we call apanchikrit panchamahabhu. Right? So from the subtle part of the 5 elements. So mind is made of 5 elements. So I am not the 5 elements, or I don't own the 5 elements. So we will have to give up our ownership of it. But even normally in your experience, you check, we experience every moment we experience that the mind, it doesn't obey us. You memorize a shloka or you memorize some text very well. And then at the time that you're supposed to chant it, or at the time that your guru asks to chant it, you will forget. You will forget one line, you will remember the first line, you'll forget the second, or in the reverse. So this mind that you force to memorize something, it cheats you the next moment only. The next moment itself, it doesn't obey. So it is useless to say that the mind is mine. Right? So once these thoughts are perfected, once this amamaha and aparigraha is perfected, then we have to go to the next stage where we have to perfect our knowledge also in a more stronger way. That is called panditya. A strive for panditya. So become a pandit. So what is a panditya? Usually the wrong conception that people have, the worldly concept is that Pandit is one who is an expert in fooling others, one who cheats someone. So this is the indicator of Panditya for a lot of people also. They say, look how much of a Pandit he is, how intelligent. He made crores of money by fooling people. So that is not the definition of Veda. Veda says something else. Pandit is one who has developed his buddhi. Pandit is one who has developed his buddhi. So in the Nighantu Grantha, so Panda is one of the names of pure intellect. Panda means one of pure intellect. So, but we think Panda is just one who makes us do the puja when we go to some Tirth Sthan and do some sankalpa and he takes some money from us. So that is not the true meaning of Panda. So that is because earlier in those places, the ones who stayed there were constantly engaged in the study of Shastra. You know what happens in a lot of these Tirths like Haridwar? Most of the people are going there for a death. So that person has the maximum experience of death and giving up of possessions. No, that temporariness of life. ये जीवन बहुत क्षणिक है, कभी ना कभी सब चला जाएगा. So that is why those people became very, very wise. They had experienced that thing. Well, we experience a death maybe once in a time. And then when we go to the Shamshan, we have what we call the Shamshan Vairagya. At that time, we think, yes, this is all transient. Why do we keep running after these objects? The final end is the death only. So we should not run after these objects. But the moment we come out, that Shamshan Vairagya, it gets left in the Shamshan only. So in this way, the Pandit, the Pandas are there who are at that place. So they don't have that doership. But they are, of course, they have families. So they need to maintain them. So the huge amount of knowledge that they have accumulated, it is our duty to give to them, right? It's our duty. So this Panda actually the meaning of Panda, one who has developed the buddhi that I am Brahman by the Mahavakyas. Panda means someone who has developed the buddhi of I am Brahman or Main Brahm Hu by the Mahavakyas. So in the same way, egoless and non-covetousness in a person makes his mind pure and receptive to the knowledge. So this Brahma Bhav is there. It will carry you. It will carry you beyond this grip of the world. But it will always need the support of something. What is the support? Just like whenever you have a car and you have to go somewhere. So you need a tire for that car to run. You need the best tire and the best tube. But what will happen to the vehicle? How will it move? It will only move when you fill the tire with air. So air is most necessary. But then do you say that why spend on the tire when the load is to be borne by the air only? Why to usko load ko bear kar rahi hai? Why not run the car on air? No, it is even stupid to ask. No? Vehicle can't run on the air alone. The load will be borne by the air, but through the medium of the tire. Same way, Brahma Vidya will carry you to liberation if the mind is Nirmama. So Nirmama mind will bear the load of Brahma Jnana. Will hold your Brahma Jnana so that it can carry. So the air is Brahma Jnana. Without air, nothing can happen. But if you have a desire-filled or ego-filled mind, then your tire is punctured. It will not hold the air. The Brahma Jnana will slip out at the first opportunity. पहला मौका निकला, वो ज्ञान साइड में हो गया और अहंकार आगे आ गया. The first moment that some problem comes where my mind or my body comes first, then I give up that knowledge. So if the tire-shaped mind will have minus, then minus means mama bhav, then it will also not be able to bear this burden. So same way, if a Pandit has memorized all the texts, but the desireless and egoless mind is still necessary because that only will hold the Brahma Jnana and carry us to liberation. That is our journey. That is where we have to go. The final destination, that is that. So once these are attained, only will our Panditya or our expertness in knowledge be useful. So before the study of any number of texts, we have to develop the thought, that vritti. We have to develop the proper vritti. Then the text will get absorbed. Someone who has this fierce desire, he will learn faster. Other people will take long time. So some people say that you must have this samucchay, combination of jnana and karma. But actually, the samucchay is not to be of just jnana and karma. Samucchay or the combination has to be nirmama mind and jnana. Once this samucchay is there, that is the strongest samucchay. So actually, the nirmama mind alone can hold this jnana. But what about karma? Do not think that karma can be, is not needed. We say anyatha siddha in Sanskrit. So unessential. It's not. So giving up karma is a cause of jnanam. Of course, it is the hetu we say, wahi hetu hai jnana ka. But what will you give up? That which you possess. आप वही छोड़ोगे ना जो आपका नहीं है. So what will you give up? What you possess. So you cannot say I have donated the Rashtrapati Bhavan. It is not your property. Some people have sold the Taj Mahal also, I know, two stories. So that is a different thing. But still, it is not your property now. So karma can only be given up by one who possesses the karma. जिसका कर्म के ऊपर अधिकार है या उसके ऊपर उसका वर्चस्व है कि हाँ मेरा है, तो आपका है ही नहीं कर्म. So how can you have ownership, right? So, but of course, first of all, you have to reach that level, no, through karma, and this non-doership. You have to through karma and through non-doership, you have to first purify your mind. Then it will only be able to bear this load. Na? So you have to purify your mind. It needs a lot of punyam to even get to swarga. And giving up swarga means that you have to give up all the bhogas. So a lot of people say, no, after initially entering into Vedanta, some new people, they will say, I have no desire for swarga. हमें स्वर्ग की कोई इच्छा नहीं है. So the wise people say to them that, do you have the punyam for swarga that you are giving it up? Once you reach, then tell us. No? Once you reach that stage. Right now, as I said, no, anything that belongs to someone else or something you feel is available, you pick up and you try to possess it. So that possession itself we can't give up. How can we give up swarga? It is once you reach there, you see the desire, the things that are available there. It will not be easy. It needs a lot of punyam to get swarga. So giving up swarga means giving up the bhog of swarga, which are very refined and much higher than the pleasures of the world. Hence, we can give up only when we have experienced. Or in one way can we give up? At least we have earned. At least we have done that karma enough. So if someone has done like 5 Ashwamedha Yajna, so then we say in the Shastra says he qualifies. Ashwamedha Yajna is not just a Havan kar diya. That was whole ritual of giving up so many things. Or at least this Tri Nachiketa Agni we saw in the Kathopanishad. So at least for 3 years, you are supposed to do that. Then you become adhikari for Swarga. Or similarly, something comparable to good deeds in the world. Something comparable. So karma is what? Karma basically is a reaction, right? It's a reaction to an action. So every action has a reaction. So karma is the reaction that will come to you when you do any kriya. जब आप कोई क्रिया करते हो, और and the more your bhava attached to the kriya, the more stronger will be the reaction. जितना आपका अच्छा उसमें स्ट्रॉन्ग भाव रहेगा उस कर्म के प्रति, इफ यू डू समथिंग मैकेनिकली, then it will have less of reaction, right? If you do something like you are just working in a factory, you are stitching clothes, so you're doing it mechanically, that will not bring that much. But something you do with a lot of passion, it will bring you very strong karma phala. Something you are doing a job with a lot of passion and a lot of good feeling. So therefore, if you haven't received this bhoga of the karma, and then you tell, yes, I am ready to give it up. Even if it comes to me, I don't need. Then you can say, yes, I am giving up swarga. So that means doing lot of yajna with nishkama bhava. A lot of people know, like in today's world, you can't do that much. At least you do daily agnihotra, continue for a few days. But after a few days, we give up, like us. we gave up after some time, then again we continue, then again. So it happens. No? So same way, also a lot of people say that I don't want siddhi. A lot of people say. So at first thing you have to remember, do you have a siddhi that you can give up? Right? Yeah, you have to have. So maybe sometime I had a siddhi. Then after some time I lost it. And then internally I understood that in giving up that siddhi, I have to understand that siddhi was not mine itself. So Lord is testing me to see, yes, okay, I've given it to you, then I take it away from you. What was always belonging to the Lord. But if someone doesn't have a siddhi, you cannot say, I don't want siddhis, right? So first you have to have the punya for a siddhi. So if you do any karma tyaga for jnana, which means we have done all kinds of karma and the fruit is available to us. Fruit is available to us, and yet we give up all ownership of the kriya and the karma phalam. That is called neshkarma. So we have to be qualified. So if someone in is class 8 pass and he says MA degree is useless, then it is pointless. He is not qualified to say this. Someone who has done MA and he says, yes, this degree is not giving a decent job, then I should have studied something else, then that person can say. So when we have given up desires and ego, whenever we have given up all our desires and ego, then only we can bear the weight of Panditya. Without that, in one shloka, Sureshwaracharya says, it's like a woman whose husband is dead, then she doesn't feel the need for Shingar. She doesn't feel the need for Shingar, right? So therefore, the anadhikari or unqualified person will not have the glow, the ojas of purity and in his words. So Panditya is needed for understanding the Mahavakya. What we call the technical name for that is Padarth Adhikati. Padarth Adhikati. What is this Padarth Adhikati? Whenever we hear any word, it has as a word or a sentence has different parts. We call that pada. And once we know the actual meaning of that pada, the artha, that is called padartha. And that padartha adhigati is when we have the actual experience of a substance or an object or a idea. So now when we look at Mahavakya has two parts. One is about Ishvara, other is about Jiva. So Aham is the Jiva, the association with Aham, and Ishvara is the association with the universal body. So when we read or when we try to understand the Mahavakya, so like we are chanting Pragyanam Brahma or Ayam Atma Brahma or Tattvamasi and so on. So this means not just memorizing them, it means understanding that Jiva means consciousness conditioned by the Antakaran. Jiva is the consciousness conditioned by the Antakaran, the inner intellect, inner instrument, the mind. And Ishvara means the consciousness conditioned by Maya. Ishvara is consciousness conditioned by Maya. So memorizing this is not sufficient. It means understanding. What is understanding? Understanding Jiva means that you have to understand the conditioning called Antakaran. You have to understand the conditioning called Antakaran, how it traps me. ये अंतःकरण कैसे मुझे फंसा लेता है जगत में. So just like if you learn Ganga Sahasranam, so that is not the same as taking an actual dip in the Ganga. That joy can only come when you have experienced an actual dip. So many people think that remembering the many names of an object means the knowledge of the object is complete, like in Nirupta. So, but knowing the Paryayavachi words you have heard in the similar words, knowing the similar words is not the same as knowing the meaning. So if by the word pot, you understand that vessel and you know it is not the difference between the pot and kalash, that means you don't understand actually the pot. You must have experience of the pot. It can be in the past also. It can be in the present also, right? So once that experience is there, then you have the padarth. Same. So many people learn the many definitions of jiva and think that they know the jiva. This is knowing the many aspects of the jiva. Till you have removed your thought, the vritti from the body and other objects and attain that thoughtless state, you attain that thoughtless state, indicating the jiva in samadhi, you have not known the jiva. So once you are in samadhi and you disassociate yourself, alag kar lete ho totally up by neti. You disassociate from all the objects in the world, then that jiva will shine within you. So right now, our jiva knowledge is not sufficient or not correct. So whenever we see it, whenever we see ourselves with the thought of the mind. So you don't know your form without the mind. That is our natural state. So our mind needs the support of an object, which means that the padarth is still not grasped by me. So jiva has still not been visualized. So then that means Ishvara is still very far away. अभी तो जीव को ही नहीं जाना, तो ईश्वर को कहाँ से? So that Maya विशिष्ट चेतन और avidya, if you say avidya upadhi upahit chaitanya for jiva, there are merely words. They are not enough. We need to know their meaning. and bring that meaning to life in our daily activities, right? So once we have to absorb those words into the intellect after the experience, we may tell, no, we may, if there is something you have heard about something that is sweet, say a laddu or a rasgulla. So till someone has described to you, this is very, very sweet, soft, white in color, still you will not be, you don't have the padarth. Like, when you finally eat it, then you will experience what that sweetness is. Then you will experience that sweetness, right? So there is a story. There was a boy who was very fond of chocolates. So his dad said, "Dekho, ज़्यादा मत खाएगा. Don't eat. It will spoil your teeth. He would please give it up. Don't. It's not good for you." So son said, "Okay, dad. Wait. The chocolate that I eat is a very special kind of chocolate. So one day, come with me, and I'll treat you to that chocolate and have one chocolate with me. After that, I will give it up." So he brought that chocolate and they had it. And then the son said, "Okay, now today is my last." So father said, you can give it up if you want. I will continue because he has experienced the taste now. So he likes it so much. So the story was about something negative. I have converted to something positive. But so we have to understand the concept. So one who has tasted this joy, this ananda of Brahman, he will know the true meaning of the word. He will know the true meaning of the word. Someone who has experienced that infinite joy within him, he will experience. He has tasted the laddu of Brahman. So this laddu is meant to be tasted and not to be described. So since we haven't tasted, our mind goes towards the different sense objects. वो taste है ही नहीं अभी. So we go to the different sense objects because we have tasted only the sense objects so far. Till now our taste is only. But once we have tasted it, the mind will not run. Mind will not run to the other objects. The inner joy will keep drawing us to it. So if you have to experience Jiva and then Ishvara, then first we have to go step by step that how my own self inside is connected to the whole universe outside, and there is a entity that is controlling that, and I am that Ishvara have that same consciousness. So that is knowing Ishvara when I see the Ishvara in everything that is going on in creation. So first recognize oneself, how I am inside, what is my true nature. Then within that, try to experience Ishvara, the one who is my inner controller and is also the outer controller. So once Ishvara shines within me, then the experience of Ishvara will enter my antakaran, enter my inner instrument. So inside its vritti or its knowledge will arise. So if we have to have the knowledge of the devas, the knowledge of the devas can be outside through our sense organs. But for the Ishvara Jnanam, it has to be inside, in the Antakaran. So how is the Ishvara recognized? When I see myself as, first of all, as the consciousness, as the Jivatma, and this Jivatma is connected to everything in the universe. And there is a connection of consciousness. The same consciousness within me is also running through the whole of the universe. So that I see as Ishvara. That is the realization of Ishvara. My consciousness controlling me, the bigger consciousness controlling the universe. That is the experience of Ishvara. And therefore, we are able to bring that Ishvara Vritti inside us. Now next, what comes next? What is our relationship? What is the relationship? What is the relationship of Jiva with Ishvara? So till you know the relationship, you are only knowing the objects, but once you know the relationship, what is where they meet, how they interact. So now what is the relationship? This relationship we call it is a very strange relationship. It is strange because both are pure chit. Both Jiva and Ishvara are pure chit. Both are pure chit and having tadatmaya, having superimposition. दोनों जीव और ईश्वर का किसी न किसी से तादात्म्य है. So they have a superimposition of something else. किसी और के ऊपर उनका तादात्म्य है. So therefore, first of all, we have to understand how there can be tadatmya at two different levels. One is the tadatmya at the individual level, the superimposition, and one is the tadatmya at the total level. So there is a very beautiful example in Panchadashi that is a very detailed example, but if you can take it in a smaller way, so we can understand by the example of a cloth. There is a cloth. It has two aspects. One is color and other is touch. So color and touch both have tadatmya sambandha with the cloth, superimposed on the cloth. So you cannot separate both from the cloth. You can so so both are cannot be separated. So same way, one all-pervading consciousness has taken the form of all-powerful Ishvara, and it has also taken the form of the less powerful Jiva. So this is the relationship between Ishvara and Jiva. So touch is not color, color is not touch, but both are inseparable from the cloth. Okay? The color is in parts of the cloth, in small patches, but the touch is all over the cloth. So this is called, we call Abhisandhi, the union. This is the union. So same way, Ishvara is not Jiva, Jiva is not Ishvara, but both are identified with the Atma. Both are identified with the Atma. So this is their strange relationship, right? Now, so after you have seen this oneness, after oneness is the removal of what we call Virodha Bhav, removal of the opposite meaning. So Jiva and Ishvara, they have many superficial differences. Jiva is less knowledgeable, Ishvara is all-knowing, Jiva is has less ability to do things, Ishvara can do anything. So calling them the same, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. So removing this opposition is the third step. Removing this opposition. Virodha bhas vishuddhi. So we remove the wrong notions. So we can go back to the example of the cloth. So a customer is coming to buy a cloth. So let's take two customers. First one is an expert. And the second one is from the village or not very knowledgeable. So the cloth has a beautiful design, but it is synthetic nylon. So now he comes up to the shopkeeper and he says, then the shopkeeper says, this is a very wonderful cloth, looks so beautiful. Nah, doesn't feel nice. The feel is not right. So he asks for another cloth. So he brings him a pure cotton cloth. And then he says, yes, this is nice. It doesn't have too much of a design. So he takes it. And the shopkeeper also knows this person is a knowledgeable person. So he charges him a reasonable price. So the other less knowledgeable customer comes. He will see the design. Kitna sundar design. And the shopkeeper, he knows he doesn't have knowledge of the cloth, because otherwise on touching he would have told. So he gives some kind of fancy name, French chiffon, says some kind of. So he says this is very, very expensive, and he will buy it at a higher price. So expert had knowledge of the touch of the cloth, which is pervading all of the cloth, whereas the Jiva, the less expert person, had the knowledge of only the color. So color is pervading only in parts and patches. So while settling on a price, the cloth quality is more important than the color. So same way, Ishvara is more important. Ishvara is more powerful. So that is why we buy the full cloth and we don't buy the touch or the color. No. So same way we transact, whatever our transactions are, our transaction is with Chetna, with the consciousness, and not with the Jiva Bhava or Ishvara Bhava. That is the realization that must come. That is the realization that will always come to us, that any transaction that we are doing is because of the Chetana and not because of this Jiva Bhav or Ishvara Bhav. They are just incidental superimpositions on the cloth. वो सिर्फ तादात्म्य संबंध है. It is just a connection due to mistaken identity, right? So then what is the final stage? The final stage is understanding, removing both the superimpositions. दोनों को हटा. So now only the cloth remains. I will not notice the texture. I will not notice the color. Only the cloth. So what is the utility of the cloth? It covers me. So same way, I notice the Chetana only the consciousness. So Jiva Bhava is dropped, Ishvara Bhava is dropped, only consciousness remains, only Chetana. I am that Chetana. So that is the final state. That is the final. Once that is there, then anything that I see, it will not bother me. The touch of the cloth will not bother me. The color of the cloth will not bother me. Just that cloth is there. Same way, only the consciousness is there. This world is just a projection. It has no reality. It is dependent on me for its existence. It is dependent on me. It is just a temporary experience, temporary visual. It will go away. So once we do that, we will be able to reach beyond the this Jeev Bhava. So we'll have time for a story. Just a small story. So there is I think most of you would have heard the story of this Govardhan Parvat. So
You were telling yesterday.
yeah. So it is an illustration of how, the Jeev Bhava and Ishvara Bhava are not important. The main thing is our Chetana Bhava, our nature of Brahma. So in the story, what happens is that Krishna is a child, छोटे बच्चे जैसे हैं. He is so he has come to the house, the family of Nanda Baba is growing up, and he's learning things and slowly gaining intelligence. So one day he tells Nanda Baba, why do we worship Indra Bhagwan? Indra Bhagwan gives us rain only. So why should we worship him? We are Gwalas. So why should we worship Indra Bhagwan? We should worship Go Mata, or we should worship Govardhan Parvat. So they are our main sustainers and indicators. The rain god is to be worshipped by the farmers. किसान लोग उनकी करेंगे. So Nanda Baba was impressed by this child. No? So a lot of times the children are more intelligent than us, right? So he said, yes, that makes sense. That makes sense. That is very intelligent. Nice, very nice, Krishna. So he says, okay, from today we will start worshipping Govardhan Parvat. So now when they started worshipping Govardhan Parvat, Indra Bhagwan said, this is very wrong. They are not worshipping me anymore. So how will I get the havi? How will I get the offerings? So he became angry. And he started sending lot of rain, and that would drown everything. So then finally Krishna Bhagwan said, okay, let us see what we can do. So he took this Govardhan Parvat, he took it on his small finger, little finger, and he raised it, and below it all the beings were able to take shelter. Right. So from this story, we learned that first thing is that young people also have this knowledge. We should always be receptive to knowledge. And once we use that, there is always going to be, the Lord is always going to be protecting us. So that is the simpler message. But what is the more deeper message? What is Lord telling us? He's telling us that usually we are running after our desires. And so our desires are available to us when we pray to the Devas. So we become the Pashu of the Devas. Whenever we have any kind of desire, we go to the Devta fulfills us. So then we are always dependent on the Devta. The wise people of today, even those who are well off or rich businessmen, they always try to give anyone money that they own. किसी का भी उधार है पहले चुका दो. They don't want to keep anyone because that is a rhythm on them. They want to clear it up, right? So here also Krishna is saying what? That we don't need to run after our desires. That in that rain that we call, that Indra is giving, that Indra Vrishti that we call, Indra Vrishti is the Vrishti of our desires. And that is the thing that catches up in the world, जो हमें संसार में फंसा देती है, हमारी इच्छाएं. Indra Vrishti is the desires. So once we give up that, then who should we go after? Go is what? Light, knowledge, right? And Govardhan Parvat is Govardhan. Increase that light of knowledge in our lives, right? So therefore Bhagwan is taking us from worldly desires towards my conscious nature. अपने ही ब्रह्म भाव की ओर. That is why whenever we when we celebrate Govardhan Puja, first we have Dashera, right? Then we have Diwali, and then next day we have Govardhan Parvat, right? Govardhan Puja, sorry. So that Govardhan Puja represents first of all that our ego is useless. The Lord can lift the whole Parvat with his little finger, right? So once we give up our ego, the whole knowledge we can bear. हम जितने भी ज्ञान का भार है, हम उसको सहन कर सकते हैं. वी कैन बेयर द नॉलेज लोड ऑफ एनी अमाउंट ऑफ नॉलेज. Otherwise we will not be able to bear that knowledge. And that is why when Dashera happens, we have killed all the demons inside. सारे अंदर के दानव को मार दिया. We have killed Ravan and all. Then after that, the period of sadhana, 20 days of sadhana, right? So first is the sadhana where we release all the demons, and then we start the Devi Puja. We have the Navaratri. So in Navaratri, we are increasing the purity of our mind, right? We're increasing our purity through sadhana. Then finally, on the day of Diwali is the light, the day of lights, right? And the day of lights means Diwali means we have awakened in that knowledge. हमारा ज्ञान जागृत हो गया. And next day is the Govardhan Puja, meaning that it should keep on increasing every day upon day. Govardhan Puja represents कि हम कभी उस ज्ञान को छोड़े नहीं. We should never give up that knowledge, right? So therefore, Bhagwan through these stories, he is giving us a message that we should always be striving for knowledge, and once we reach that knowledge, we should always keep growing. Govardhan में लगे रहना चाहिए. We should always strive to increase ourselves within that knowledge. The worldly desires, Indra Vrishti, will always keep trapping us. We have to let go of our dependence on Indra Vrishti. Once we let go of that, then we will become Gopal. We will become Gopal. We will be the we will be the tenders of the cow. Cow means what? Go means what? Knowledge. We will always be nurturing our knowledge. हमेशा हम अपने ज्ञान को बढ़ाते रहेंगे. So that is the bhava in this story. Right? So we'll wind up for today. Time is up. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Tat Sat.